Hi, folks. Welcome back to Sports Talk with Alex and Felix. And this is now time for our picks for the Super Bowl, basically. For this, basically what the championship games, AFC and NFC. So thank you, Alex, for helping me out there. But before we jump into our picks, just like the video we did for last week, you know, there's been some changes. Some teams have now picked up some head coaches. There's still some teams without head coaches. Some GMs have been let go, which wasn't a let go until just recently. So we're going to talk about Jacksonville. They let go of their general manager, which was kind of late. After they let go, right? They let Doug Peterson go, and then now they decided to move on from their general manager, which it may be a good thing for them to start over fresh, new head coach, new GM, and hopefully they get something done before draft time, because they're missing some pieces there, and the team definitely needs some help. The Jets got a brand new head coach, which is Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. Yes, congratulations. Now the question comes there, that, you know, being that he took the head coaching job there, obviously we still don't know what Rodgers' intentions are. Is he staying there, or is he leaving, or does he not want him there? And you know, where they go from there as an organization. Hopefully he has the same intentions that they had in Detroit, because, as you know, Campbell built something there. You know, it's their fourth year in a row. He stayed there. He's gotten multiple opportunities before to go and apply for a head coaching job or get a head coaching job, but decided to stay with Detroit. And they, as you can see, they almost got themselves to a championship. So he's a good coach. I think it's a win for the New York Jets. Right. So they went and found themselves
former Buccaneers GM. He get promoted as a GM.
Right. And so they're still looking for a head coach. Jacksonville's still looking for a head coach. The Saints are still looking for a head coach.
Okay.
The Bears, congratulations, also got themselves a new head coach, which was the offensive coordinator from Detroit.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
I don't like the press conference. He will eat, and hopefully he will get there and take it up.
Look, they got the hardest part done. There's already a starting quarterback there. So he got a young quarterback and who's extremely gifted and talented. And obviously they played them twice this year, so he got a feel to see what this young man brought to the table. So things should be moving along for Chicago. So for all you Chicago fans, you guys should be really happy and excited. You guys are going to be building something there. Unfortunately, you guys are going to be going against those same Detroit Lions, which they will now know each other a little bit more because he was their previous offensive coordinator. And then, of course, Minnesota in that division.
I agree all the time. A multi-year contract for the head coach.
Yeah.
He get around.
Yes, congratulations to him as well.
Okay. The organization at the end for this week.
Right. So, before we jump into these picks real quick, you know, let's just talk about, I know we talked a little bit about it earlier this week about some of the performances and who's at fault for the Ravens and stuff. But I just wanted to quickly bring up, you know, Peyton Manning had his struggles for a while before winning his first playoff game. Guy played outstanding every single season that he was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And at some point he found a way or the path. They got the right team, the right players, and everything for him, and he finally got over the hurdle and got himself to Super Bowl and won one. And so Lamar will get there. He's disciplined. He's a great player. He has a great team around him, a great head coach. And I know fans are just tired of him getting there and then losing, but you know what? They're going to figure it out. And when they do, he is going to win one. He'll get himself to the Super Bowl and be victorious. So just be patient, Baltimore Ravens. It's coming. At least he's consistent of getting you guys to the playoffs. And that's just one hurdle away from getting to the Super Bowl. So
Okay, Pittsburgh had thought of me about the job will be in Pittsburgh. Not the job. The job will be in Green Bay.
right.
After the job will be in Pittsburgh.
All right. And maybe they'll figure things out there for themselves, for you Pittsburgh fans, and get you guys back to a Super Bowl. So
Okay, let's talk about the game.
okay.
The two games.
So the first game up of the day is the Commanders and Eagles, which play at 3 p.m. Temperature's been really cold everywhere. Obviously, you've seen snow in Texas, you've seen snow in Louisiana, snow in Florida, and then Georgia, like in Alabama. Alabama kind of gets snow depending on where you are in Alabama because there's mountains there. But for the most part, those surrounding states that surround themselves around Alabama don't typically get snow.
Yeah.
So it was snowing in their states, and they got like 8 to 10 inches. So look, I know that that's crazy down there. I lived down there for some time. I could just tell you guys, it ain't fun when it snows down there because you're not set up for it. But this game should be pretty interesting. Look, these teams are division rivals. They played each other this season. Eagles jumped on them early, gave Washington their first loss when they first had their first matchup. Second time around, looked like Eagles was going to run away for the game. Hurts get injured, get a concussion, and he's out of the game. And then the game kind of struggled, and Washington managed to find their way back. I don't see this being a very, like, one way or another where it's going to be a blowout, per se. I do believe it will be a very entertaining game because they're division rivals. They do know each other. But I do suspect that with Hurts, if he's healthy, this is going to be a very tough game for Washington. Commanders have done an outstanding job getting themselves this far. If they do have to be lucky enough and they beat the Eagles and they get to the Super Bowl, then this is going to be the first time ever we will have a rookie quarterback take a franchise in their first season as a starter to a Super Bowl. And that would be pretty interesting if that happens. That will be history made. Your thoughts, obviously, is your Eagles. I believe the Eagles is going to win this and go on to the Super Bowl. The addition to Barkley, the guy is just insane. Giants fans, I know you guys, your stomachs are turned in knots. You probably don't even want to watch. I mean, just because it's a reminder of the poor decision making from the people in the front office. He was just a hell of a talent, and you let him go. And then, if we haven't really paid attention, I know Cowboy fans, and I know we haven't talked about it, you have both offense and defensive coordinator, which came from the Cowboys, and guess what? So if you're Cowboy fans and you know that, hey, our offense and defensive coordinator is with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are on their way possibly to a Super Bowl. Isn't this insane? So the NFC East, stomach must be hurting pretty bad if you're fans of those organizations, because the one team that has been solid in making solid decisions in their front office and building a solid team in both offense, defense, and special teams have been the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Washington, you're all new to the game because you got a new owner, you got new coaching, you got new everything, and so we can't really put you in that category because it's a restart for you guys. And so we'll see what happens next year and the year after, how you guys build, and if your coaches end up hanging around, if you're not going to be gutted, oh, we need a new head coach, we want your offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. We'll see. Hopefully you guys can build something before that happens.
Well,
but go ahead.
Just like you say, both offense and defense were from a couple. They think that they think for the head coach.
Yes.
From a defense coach, for the couple. Oh boy, couple thing I don't know.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up.
They couldn't get it done in Dallas. I wonder why. I think it starts with a JJ. Maybe that JJ just was meddling too much and these guys could not coach. And maybe that's why they're now having an impact. They're making a pretty big footprint in other organizations and are doing well.
And then he come and quarterback. They come up, he played unbelievable. Look around that week.
Well, this whole entire season for him, to be honest with you, if it wasn't easy just to give the MVP to quarterbacks, and if it really was based off the performance of players like it was supposed to be, what it was intended for, he should be up for it because the young man has literally, like, this was an amazing season for him as a player. And the difference between being there at the Eagles organization, yes, you have a fantastic offensive line to give him the protection and things like this. But when he was with New York, he didn't have those things, and he still was doing amazing things for their organization. But they didn't have the quarterback, they didn't have the receiving core, they didn't have the defense, and a lot of that came from really poor management from the people in the office. That's not the players, because they don't get to pick. It's basically not building around him and their quarterback. And because they didn't do this, you had inconsistencies, and he was constantly being hurt, and it was just because he runs so hard, he works so hard, but he was great for the organization. He was a great teammate. He had that captain's type of atmosphere about him, leadership, and he just brought something to the table. And believe it or not, whether he went to the Eagles or he went to even another organization, it could have been the Patriots, it could have been the Bills, he could have went anywhere. I think the result would have still been the same wherever he went, because they were paying him what he needed, which gave him peace of mind, which now all he had to focus on was the gifts that were stored upon him, his talent, and just used them in games. And now we see the fruits of his labor for this organization. It's just sad because the Giants had him. You literally had him. And he's only been in the league a short period of time. He was a first overall pick for you guys in the first round. And you guys literally just let this man leave.
Okay.
Over money. Sad. Especially, I know he don't want me to get started on that because New York, just like the Dallas Cowboys, are two of the most successful franchises within the NFL. No joke. Like, the most money.
Okay.
Like, insane. That should never be a thing for them.
Okay.
But anyway.
But I didn't go what about what the team that they go to the Super Bowl.
Right. That's right.
Maybe a year, maybe couple years from now, we get another beautiful what the after they come up with or almost another team. That history couple of years ago, remember you told me that quarterback he put permanent in my army. He went.
Yeah, I told you when they got him mid-season, right, and they made the inquiry to have him. That was the last piece you guys needed, and you guys were going to go to the Super Bowl. You thought I was crazy, but you guys went on to the Super Bowl, and he ended up beating Tom Brady and the Patriots and Belichick in the Super Bowl, and you went on to win it, getting your first Super Bowl trophy and in the NFC East. It was the same thing now. Because you guys have done really good with your drafts, free agency, and setting things up for every portion of the game. Like I said, special teams, defense, offense, and then coaching wise, all these men, they're sound in the mind, and so they're not reckless. You don't see stories coming up with these guys getting in trouble off the field, things of that nature. They are there, and they're proud to be Eagles, and hopefully their careers will be longevity. Hopefully there's no injuries or anything like that, but on the flip side of this, we look at Washington. It's a young, upcoming team in the NFC East. I believe they will create havoc next year and the next couple of years if they build around their quarterback and they give him more pieces, a better offensive line, a great running back, and so on. I can only see them going up and not backwards. They go backwards, then we have to look at front office and coaching. These men are there. They're committed, and that's why they're sitting in the position they're sitting, which is the NFC championship game.
So that's how what's the Super Bowl?
Was in '92.
Yeah, because I had the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Well, 2022.
Oh, was it 2022?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when you guys lost. The last time you won the Super Bowl was 2018. So
yeah. So I believe it was at the Eagles who got to get out.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Simple for me. It's easy. I'm gonna stick with that. It is the Eagles. Again, not to take nothing away from the Commanders, but if they do get there, kudos to you. But I believe Eagles will go and play. Only concern I have about the Eagles, they have some pretty banged up players on the defensive side. That is the number one defense in the league. If these guys are able to play, I suspect that they will win this game.
Okay. For me, I could go. The two a quarterback, the head coach for both teams, were at the end for both teams. But I do pick it and go to the Eagles to this game and be comfortable about that. Okay, move on.
The last game of the evening, which would be at 6:30, is obviously the Bills and Chiefs.
Boom.
And there's been a lot of talk. Now, this game is much different than the Commanders and Eagles because, you know what, there's been a lot of talk of the play of Mahomes and the officiating of every Chiefs game for the last 4 seasons, which has just literally been insane. So, you know, I pushed for this a year ago and a year before that the NFL, Roger Goodell, and the owners need to make a change when it comes to these officiating. And it is very disappointing. The game went from being, you know, great entertainment to now complete chaos for fans. And it's always circling around the Kansas City Chiefs, more so than any other team. We see bad calls throughout every game in the league, but it is consistent. And when it is with the Chiefs, it's to help them win. And I'm not saying necessarily that these officials are helping them win in that set. When I'm saying, like, when they get calls, it's always at a moment that makes a impact or a difference in the game. Like, for example, if they made these calls all in the first quarter, you still got 3 quarters of the game to go, and teams could have their, you know, come back and end up beating the Chiefs. But it always seems that these calls always are at points that matter in the game, that will turn the tide of the game and allow for the Chiefs to go on to win. And that is completely unfair. It's unfair to the fans. It's unfair to all of the other organizations. And we've had it up to here. We're just sick of it. Rules need to be changed, and they need to do something where these officials could officially be punished, or maybe even lose their job, be fired for making those kind of calls without being responsible about the calls they're making. Because at the end of the day, you're impacting these games. But besides impacting the games, when you think about how much money is flowing through the NFL at all times, no matter what games there are, that's the last thing you want a single individually just blowing, just literally. You just don't know what's going on. Just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick it to somebody. It's wrong, and it needs to be more thought out with the decision making with the officials, because it's bad. Don't want to see that in this AFC Championship game. This is the second time these two teams are matching up in the AFC Championship game.
It last 4.
Well, you can't say round 4 because it's only twice they made it to the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
They have played in the playoffs a couple of times, and the Chiefs are 0-5.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 5-0 against the Bills. The Bills are 0-5 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. In the regular season games, they're always back and forth as well, but the Bills have owned the Chiefs in the regular season, and then when they get to the playoffs, the Chiefs usually defeat and move on. So we're going to see if Josh Allen can do what he did, like he did last weekend, him and his team. Not just Josh Allen, because he ain't the only person playing. Can him and his team get past another elite quarterback, especially this particular quarterback, which is Patrick Mahomes, which is always on fire for trying to win a championship. This man is always hungry. He plays his best every time. He does elevate himself. He wants as many trophies he can get, just like Tom Brady. And I love that when a guy is passionate about his field and what he wants to do, and he is determined to be the best of the best of the best. How bad does Josh Allen want this? And his team, can they get past this large hurdle? This is the biggest hurdle he's had in the playoffs. Now, believe it or not, he beats Lamar. That's his first true going head-to-head against another elite quarterback in the playoffs. He has not been successful against, top quarterbacks in the playoffs. And so he got past that first hurdle. Now let's see if he can do it again in Kansas City.
Okay. Quick history. Teddy was 5-0, right? In the playoff.
No, against him, against Josh Allen.
Yeah.
They're 5-0. They have more than just 5-0
I know.
in the playoffs.
5-0 against the Bills. Remember, I could be going to overtime.
Yeah, that's another hurdle for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the regular season, he has not had success if the team is going into overtime. He has not won an overtime game since he's been in the league. And he got drafted in 2018, so you just think about that. It's not often that teams go to overtime, but when his team has gone to overtime, he has not won those games. And he is not necessarily has been the best quarterback against top other quarterbacks, like other super franchise quarterbacks. So to see what he did last weekend, him and his team, was pretty cool that they were able to get past this big hurdle. It tells me that there's been growth and they're going in the right direction. And obviously if he pulls this off this weekend, this is the really right direction, because now you make it into the Super Bowl. And so that's going to be the key factor. Now, we all know Patrick Mahomes is trying to go three-peat, meaning back to back to back. He already has, I think, 3 trophies?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be his 4th opportunity to get a 4th trophy since he's been with the Chiefs. And no team has ever won 3 championships back to back to back. There's been teams that go to the Super Bowl 3 straight times plus, right? Maybe more, like Minnesota,
the
Bills. They've done it before in the past, but have lost. Could they be the first franchise to go back to back to back and win all 3? That's where it's going to be challenging, and that will matter next week conversation if the Chiefs do make it past this round and get to Super Bowl.
Okay.
That will be the conversation that me and Alex will be having next week because it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Okay. The last time the Bills went to the Super Bowl was 1995.
I think you're correct.
And the last time the was
Just last year.
That is championship pool. So this is going to be I need to make you pick who is going to the Super Bowl battle team.
Well, I'm going to go with the Bills. They're the underdogs in this matchup, 100%. I'm going to pick them. I'm going to stick with that. I think it will be Bills, and instead of being Detroit, it's going to be the Eagles. And that's who I see. Now, look, there's been rumors about that trophy as well. So the colors that's on there. But you know what? The Bills have red in their uniform. So I'm just saying, I say Bills, Josh Allen, and them get it done. This is going to be, I think, a big moment for them if they're able to do it.
Yeah,
So.
but also could be wrong with the ear with purple.
Yeah, and ended up being two red teams.
Yeah.
So
So
it was supposed to be the Ravens. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
But look, you have 3 teams with red and only 1 with green. So the trophy can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because although the Bills got blue in their uniform, they do have a red uniform. And they do have red on their helmet and in their color scheme. So the trophy's not wrong.
Yeah.
It is right this year.
Yeah.
Okay? So whether it's Washington,
Well,
whether it's the Chiefs or
Well,
the Bills, they have red.
Yeah.
The only one ain't got no red in there is the Eagles.
Yeah.
And there is green on that trophy. So I suspect, hopefully, Eagles versus whether it's the Chiefs or Bills. My
the
pick
Bill.
are going to be the Bills. Let's see what happens.
Oh boy, again, what I'm missing of course, we can't eat at the Bill. Part of it make it get up here, but it always is in the playoff. Okay, we are going. But I believe it's gonna be kept in. I can eat them. I realize of 2 years ago, that Super Bowl again, aka the Cat Bowl, gonna be getting the unit. Gonna be getting the unit. Yeah, I think the Cat and it goes all good to Super Bowl battle team.
Okay, so there you have it. Now look, let me just point out this one thing because I just thought about this. If Washington is to get past your team and the Chiefs end up going and it's Chiefs and Washington, you know what that says? Commander-in-Chief.
Hey,
that's a possibility, and believe it or not, there is a dark maroon red in that uniform. I mean, in that trophy color scheme. But just the name itself, Commander-in-Chief. We just had an election, Commander-in-Chief. We might see that happen. But also, just to keep in mind, if Washington goes and the Bills go, that's also a repeat of another Super Bowl where Washington won against the Bills. So, look, we could see that as well.
or we could be something new. So, ain't a Bill. We never did that.
We never seen that, and that's the only team that the Bills have not played in a Super Bowl in the NFC East and lost to because they lost to the Cowboys, the Giants, and Washington. And it would be interesting to see them go and play the Eagles because then they would have got swept by the entire division. I'm just saying, don't get mad at me, Josh Allen. I'm just saying, look, You wasn't even there at those times when your team went for the Super Bowl. But in all honesty, we gotta wait and see. So you got Chiefs and Eagles. I got Bills and Eagles, and we'll see what happens from there. And for you fans out there who are hopeful that your franchise may go, it could be Commander and Chiefs, or Chiefs and Commanders, or Bills and Eagles, or Bills and Commanders.
Yeah.
Or Eagles and Chiefs.
What? And I'm looking here at what the Eagles put up in before the big game of the year.
Yes.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it.
The season went by so quickly.
I can't believe it.
I'm just excited to see what's going to happen in this draft because, look, there's so many different scenarios now of what could be. And I wish the Cowboys would stop beating around the bush. Jerry, can you just make a decision? Are you bringing in Deion Sanders or not? Just get it done, please, because, listen, you already got 3 teams that already took care of their coaching situation. Get yours done. Same thing with you, Saints and Raiders. You guys are beating around the bush. Find your guy and let's make it happen.
And
Jacksonville. Right? You guys are kind of just dragging on about it because, look, when this is all said and done, you know, the next focus point is the draft. And so you got to have a head coach by this point because the worst thing you want to do is go through this draft, draft these young men, and they don't even have a leader on their franchise. So you need to get it done.
After the Super Bowl, let's talk about free agency coming up. So please do it quick.
Yeah, do it quick so that we kind of have a sense where these franchises are going to be kicking off their 2025 season and how that's going to pan out. Schedules will be revealed as far as we already know who's paying what. Yeah. We don't know what part of the season in order, and if they're primetime games or not primetime games. So it's time to get it done. And the closest one to making a decision out of the Raiders, the Saints, and the Jacksonville is the Cowboys. So let's just get it done, Jerry. Stop trying to build up the suspense and all the crap. Just make a decision. Let's start preparing for the 2025 season. And Roger Goodell, please take care of the situation with these officials because I really pray and hope we do not see that on this weekend's game. Okay. Because you're gonna have complete chaos. People are just gonna start freaking out.
Okay. So. This was the AFC championship game. Next week is a football.
Yeah, Eli and Peyton coaching. And
whoever makes a football.
Wink, wink. Hey, maybe put one of these guys at the helm.
Yeah.
Look, I could see Peyton becoming a head coach at the Saints. Eli can. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't be doing this. He's very capable. But I think Eli would prefer to be a New York Giant head coach. And, their father played for the Saints. So I could see either the Saints, one of those two, being a head coach there. Wink, wink. Saints, reach out, bro. I'm just saying, like, make it happen.
Okay. We can pop out with. We might confident or we might not.
What do you mean?
Kapopol.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Chances are we'll probably do a short video. About the
game.
Right.
It's a Super Bowl week.
Okay, no, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
For this who's going into Super Bowl for the victors.
And that is the Super Bowl week.
Yes.
I can't believe it's week. The championship week of football.
Yes. All right. See you later.